My name's Josephine Goris. I'm in Warragamba, Sydney, Australia, and I'm 30 years old.
In Hello? Okay. In your opinion, what are the most important values taught in your family? For example, in Indonesia, at the family level, we are often taught to bow slightly when walking in front of respected or older people. What about your family?
So, in my family, I'm Australian and Italian. So, I was raised more of the Italian side of things, my mum's side of the family, and it was always respect your elders, greet them with a kiss on both cheeks, bring a gift or an offering. You never show up empty handed. Don't interrupt your elders when they're speaking, especially if it's an important conversation. Always be a good host, be self-sacrificing, so you always look after their needs first. You offer them food, drink, you don't sit down before them, and always show up with honesty and integrity. So tell the truth, be a good person, stand up for your loved ones, show that you're a hard worker, show that you respect them, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, so the biggest value is I think it's sharing love each other, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's loyalty to the family and showing love in service, basically.
So does these values only apply to your family or is this common in other families in your country too?
I'd say, like, in the Italian side of things, it's very common, like loyalty and serving family above all. My partner is like Aussie. He doesn't have any other background, and his family's very different. So that's really interesting to see that most Australians are more laid back. Everyone sort of respects each other's individuality. They leave each other in their own spaces, whereas like my family, we're always in each other's faces. We're very involved. We know everything. There's no secrecy. So it's quite different. And I think that, yeah, it just depends. It changes quite a bit.
Mhm. And for the third question,
Are there other factors that you think that make how you yourself to people when you're country?
So I think the customs that sort of illustrate the values are like a lot of the main ones like
it's not
Easter,
clear.
Christmas, things like that. You'll spend that's when you see people spend a lot of time with their families the way that like
Pull out
my
my
Italian side
handphone
does.
charger.
Um, whereas like most people in Australia are pretty laid back with their customs. There's not a lot of other than like maybe sporting events or things that really bring together that community spirit. Everyone's very separate, doing their own thing. And I think it's usually during like yeah, Easter, Christmas where I kind of see the Italian side of things more commonly within the greater Australian community of like actually having families coming together and having that sharing that love and that loyalty and stuff there.
Oh, that's great. And for the fourth question,
How or in what ways are these customs taught to the next generations?
So, with the Italian side of things, it's taught through grandparents being very, very involved in grandchildren's lives. So, like, I was brought up not just by my parents, but my grandparents too. They were involved in everything. So they pass down their knowledge, their parenting style, their values, things that they like how they grew up and how they view the world that is very much instilled upon like the grandchildren. And also like, you know, my not just like my mom and that, but all my aunties and uncles are very, very involved. So everyone's
mm,
always in each other's spaces, everyone's always in each other's life. So it's kind of like a huge family community where everyone's sharing their experiences and their expectations and their values. So that ends up kind of being what's expected. So when I have kids, it's expected
mhm.
that my mum will be very involved in their life. And if my grandparents are still around, which mine sadly aren't, but if I had grandparents that were around, then they would still be involved in that process as well. And that would just continue. So like I would be involved in my grandchildren's lives
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So all family on duty to
Yeah,
have.
yeah. Like all the time. Everyone's involved all the time, all the way through. Yeah.
Mhm. But do Australians growing in a big family?
No, not really. Like, so, my partner, he's Aussie, so his family's very, they don't really get together a lot. They don't spend a lot of time together. The only time he really sees aunts and uncles is usually during, the big events. So like Easter,
Mm,
Christmas, things like that. Whereas my side of the family is always involved. Like we call nearly every day, we visit weekly, we do catch ups with like larger parts of the family at least every couple of months. So we're always involved. Whereas the Australian side of things, it's kind of more of a, if something comes up, then you'll kind of see the other side of the family, or you'll see your
mm,
parents or your sister or something like that. So they're very more individual, whereas
mm.
the Italian side of things are we're all like interconnected
Oh
and
yeah.
just in a big group.
So talking about gathering, even like Christmas or
Mm.
something else, do you identify yourself as a religious person?
I don't identify myself as a religious person anymore. I did grow up as Roman Catholic,
Mm,
and that's just the religion that my Italian side of the family follow. So it was expected as we grew up that you would go through the process of like communion, confirmation. You'd attend church every week with family. You would have that religion sort of those values brought up with you, and you do prayers and all that sort of stuff. I still follow some of the traditions. So,
mm,
out of respect for elders, I will attend certain events and I will, sometimes do the rosary or I do prayers with them if that's what
mhm.
they are doing in their home. But I personally don't identify with that religion anymore.
Oh, so you sure not anymore? But what is your view of God?
Um, my view of God is it's a mixed one.
Mm-hmm,
So my view of God is still very much the Roman Catholic side of things, which is, Jesus, God is the one who, like, he is your father. He's the one who looks after you, he looks after your family. Mother Mary is Queen of Angels, and you pray to her in times of need and things like that. I used to strongly believe in that as that's how I was brought up. And then as I became an adult and I sort of had a different change of view, I don't really view God that way anymore. For me, it's more just, I
mm,
guess, the more surprisingly Aussie side of things, which is just like spirituality in general, or like just considering it the energy of the universe
mm.
rather than just one God or one person. It's just everything is connected energetically, sort of. That's my view of a God now.
Okay, so about religion is when you're adult, you make decision.
Yeah, yeah. When you're adult, you're able to sort of decide whether or not you follow like the family religion. Most still do, or if it's something that you don't really follow or you don't really click with anymore, and you decide to explore other avenues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great. And for the next question,
Okay, I will ask you for the next question. The next question is what about the context in your country? In your opinion, does the context in society in your culture prioritize religious values? If so, why? And if not, why?
Um, in the context of my country, Australia, I don't think that they prioritize religious values. There's more of an emphasis on freedom of rights and beliefs, and there's no real pressure for you to believe in a certain religion or for you to have a religion in order to engage in a community or have a community space
mm,
or relate to other people. And yeah, I don't really hear much about it. I don't really see it. There are sometimes, I guess, the Christian side of things is the most common where they have like Christian schools and like religious schools, and growing up, quite a lot of kids that I knew went to like a boys only Christian school or a girls only Christian school,
mm,
whereas like it was only a small percentage, whereas most of the other schools are just mixed, and there was no real like emphasis on you have to be religious or you have to follow or believe in a god or anything like that. It was more like just be a good community member and
mm.
and that's all you have to do.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
But it means most of Australians is prioritize religious, right?
Mm, yeah, most of Australians like just don't really prioritize religion. Other than I think Christianity is the most common religion, but even
Mm-hmm.
then, it's not really common.
Oh,
I'd
so
say like it's not. There's not a lot of people who sort of like there are people who are like religious and that, but it's not prioritized really. No.
oh yeah, maybe it's just only a formality.
Mm.
Okay, and the last question, maybe Susan.
In your daily activities, do you feel that every assessment you have is influenced by God, your work in your life, or do you feel that what you have assessment is socially due to your own efforts and hard work?
Mm. Um, I see it as it's being my own hard work, but if I was to share that achievement with family, they see it as God's work. They see it as an opportunity that God gave me, as a pathway I was set on, or that things happen because God put it there. Even if I express to them that I feel like, well, I did all the work and I've put in all the effort and I did what I had to do to get here, not just sort of sit around and hope for something to happen. So there is that difference of opinion within my family, but I personally believe that I feel that I things that I've achieved is solely due to my own efforts and hard work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you will get nothing if you're just lying down on your bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So like in my mind, I'm like, well, to me, like if I was to sit and wait for a God to do something for me, then I wouldn't do anything. Whereas if I've put in all the work to get there, then I've obviously got there because I've put the effort in. So but my family are still like, oh, we get that you did all this work, but also it was God's will that that happened.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, yeah. There's always something to believe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all for the interview. And thank you so much, Josephine, for your time and your sharing information.
Thank you so much.
It's a
Hope it's
pleasure for us.
yeah.
Okay, thank
Hope-
you, Josephine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you.